Good morning, everybody. Frankie here with your fourth stimulus check update and related news. We have some pretty big news here. They're negotiating this package right now, 5 different committees. CNN just showed this, and I'm going to replay this video right here, showing Joe Manchin only wanting 1.5 trillion, but ultimately, they should all Democrats should come together for a $3.5 trillion package. Here's CNN.
Manchin says $3.5 trillion is too big. He wants $1.5 trillion. You can't pass this bill without his vote. Put Ed Markey in a room one-on-one with Joe Manchin. What would you say? And would you accept if he says 1.5? Could you do 2? Can you do 2.2? Or do you need 3.5?
First, I would say that I'd rather be talking to Joe Manchin every day of the week and twice on Sunday than a Republican at this time, because Joe is a good Democrat. Joe does actually believe in climate change. He believes in the social safety net that we have in our country. He doesn't want to cut it. He wants to see it expanded. So I guess that what we have to do is to work with him to make it bigger than 1.5 trillion. I mean, my hope was that it would be much bigger. I supported $6 trillion as the package. But I think as you go through each one of the individual items, whether it be child care or community college or a free pre-K for every child in our country, or the ability to create millions of new jobs in a clean energy economy, I think we can make the case to Senator Manchin that this really is a great opportunity for West Virginia, for the citizens of West Virginia.
So let me jump in. Let me jump in and say, let's say you have some success there, and Joe Manchin says, okay, I can go to 2.5, maybe 2.6. You have some friends on the House progressive side, especially on the climate issue, but on other progressive issues. Some of them helped you out back in your primary campaign when you were running for re-election. Are you willing to walk to the other side of the Capitol and say, you all keep saying 3.5 trillion is already a compromise. We won't go any lower. Hey, guess what? We got to go to 2.6.
Well, you know, this is a multi-dimensional political chess game that we are in right now, but it's all amongst Democrats. And obviously, the progressive wing of the Democratic Party in the House and in the Senate, I'm part of it, are pushing for the highest possible number. And I think the times justify that, given what we've lived through over the last couple of years, and given what we've just seen with Hurricane Ida, what we've seen with the forest fires on in California. We know that we have to respond to the climate crisis. And each one of these plans that we have in place is part of a massive job creation program for our country. And so, yeah, I think the left is going to continue to push on part of that. And ultimately, out of this, my hope is that we can find a way in which we make the number significantly bigger than 1.5 trillion, and that all Democrats can come together. I think the times call for it, and I think that Democrats ultimately will come together to reach that goal.
You've served in the House earlier in your career. The margin there for Nancy Pelosi is, you can count it on a hand, the number of votes she has to spare. I think I lose a finger, and that's the number of votes she has to spare. You have no votes to spare in the Senate. What should the president be doing, and what is he doing, if anything, that we don't see publicly to move this along?
Well, I know that his top staff is in ongoing negotiations by the hour with all of the key parties, including the committee chairs in the House and the Senate, to resolve these disputes. And ultimately, this is Joe Biden's plan. This is Joe Biden's legacy. So they're obviously, trying to resolve the differences between the House and Senate, to try to make the number as big as possible, to try to ensure that Joe Manchin is on board. And at the end of the day, I think it's a pathway for the Democrats to hold on to the House and Senate in 2022, and ultimately to hold on to the presidency in 2024. There's a lot on the line, and Democrats ultimately, in my opinion, are going to come together.